1. The Watergate Scandal. The Watergate scandal is arguably one of the most famous political scandals in United States history. It began with a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex in Washington, D.C. on June 17, 1972. What initially appeared to be a simple burglary soon unraveled into a much larger conspiracy. The subsequent investigation revealed that members of President Richard Nixon's administration had attempted to cover up their involvement. This led to the discovery of widespread abuses of power by the Nixon administration, including wiretapping, campaign espionage, and other illicit activities aimed at sabotaging political opponents. The scandal eventually led to the resignation of President Nixon on August 8, 1974, making him the only U.S. president to resign from office. 2. The Pentagon Papers. In 1971, a massive leak of classified documents, known as the Pentagon Papers, exposed the U.S. government's secret history of the Vietnam War. Daniel Ellsberg, a former military analyst, leaked the documents to the New York Times. These papers revealed that successive U.S. administrations had systematically lied to the public and Congress about the war's progress and prospects. The Pentagon Papers showed that the government had been escalating the conflict while publicly claiming efforts were aimed at achieving peace. The revelation caused a significant public outcry and fueled anti-war sentiments. The Nixon administration attempted to prevent the publication of the papers, but the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the press, marking a significant victory for freedom of the press and government transparency. 3. Project MK-Ultra. Project MK-Ultra was a covert CIA program that aimed to develop mind control techniques. Initiated in the 1950s and officially halted in 1973, MK-Ultra involved experiments on unwitting subjects, including the use of drugs like LSD, hypnosis, and other psychological manipulations. The project's details came to light in 1975 during congressional investigations. These investigations revealed that the CIA had conducted unethical experiments on individuals without their consent, often resulting in severe psychological trauma and, in some cases, death. The exposure of MK-Ultra led to widespread condemnation and significant changes in how intelligence agencies operated, emphasizing ethical standards and the protection of human rights. 4. COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program, was an FBI initiative aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting domestic political organizations. Launched in 1956, COINTELPRO targeted civil rights activists, feminist organizations, socialist groups, and other political entities deemed subversive. The program's existence was exposed in 1971 when a group of activists broke into an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania, and stole documents detailing the operations. The leak revealed the extent of the FBI's efforts to undermine legitimate political movements, often through illegal activities. This exposure led to reforms in FBI practices and greater oversight to prevent such abuses of power in the future. 5. The Iran-Contra Affair. The Iran-Contra Affair was a political scandal in the United States during the Reagan administration. It involved the secret sale of arms to Iran, which was then under an arms embargo, with the profits being used to fund Contra rebels in Nicaragua. The scandal was uncovered in 1986 when a Lebanese newspaper reported the arms sales. Further investigations revealed that senior officials within the Reagan administration had orchestrated the scheme, circumventing congressional oversight and violating U.S. law. The affair led to several indictments and convictions, though many were later overturned or pardoned. The scandal severely damaged the credibility of the Reagan administration and highlighted the need for greater accountability in government operations. 6. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study was an unethical medical study conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service between 1932 and 1972. The study involved 600 African American men, 399 of whom had syphilis and 201 who did not. The men were told they were receiving free healthcare but were not informed of the diagnosis nor given treatment for syphilis, even after penicillin became the standard cure in 1947. The study aimed to observe the natural progression of the disease, but at the cost of the participants' health and lives. The details of the study were exposed in 1972, leading to a public outcry and a lawsuit against the government. The exposure of the Tuskegee study underscored the importance of ethical standards in medical research and led to significant changes in how human subjects are protected in clinical studies. 7. The Snowden Revelations. In 2013, former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden leaked a vast trove of classified documents revealing the extent of global surveillance programs run by the NSA. The documents showed that the NSA had been collecting vast amounts of data on US citizens and foreign nationals, including phone records, emails, and internet activity, often without proper legal oversight. The revelation sparked a global debate about privacy, security, and government overreach. They led to significant changes in surveillance laws and practices, as well as increased scrutiny of intelligence agencies worldwide. Snowden's actions were both lauded and condemned, highlighting the complex balance between national security and individual privacy. 8. The Panama Papers. The Panama Papers were a massive leak of documents from the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca in 2016. The leak consisted of 11.5 million documents that detailed how wealthy individuals and public officials used offshore entities to hide assets and evade taxes. The documents implicated numerous high-profile figures, including politicians, business leaders, and celebrities, in complex schemes designed to obscure their financial dealings. The leak led to widespread public outrage and calls for greater transparency in the global financial system. Several governments launched investigations, and some officials resigned as a result of the revelations. The Panama Papers underscored the pervasive issue of financial secrecy and its impact on global inequality. 9. Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods was a proposed plan by the U.S. Department of Defense in 1962 to stage false flag terrorist attacks on American soil, which would then be blamed on Cuba. The aim was to justify military intervention in Cuba and overthrow Fidel Castro's government. The plan included proposals to hijack planes, sink boats carrying Cuban refugees, and conduct other acts of sabotage. The documents detailing Operation Northwoods were declassified in the 1990s, revealing the extent to which some U.S. military officials were willing to go to achieve their political objectives. The exposure of Operation Northwoods highlighted the potential dangers of unchecked military power and the importance of maintaining civilian oversight of the military. 10. The Gulf of Tonkin Incident. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, which occurred in August 1964, involved two separate encounters between U.S. naval forces and North Vietnamese forces. The second of these encounters, which was reported to involve an attack on the U.S. destroyer Maddox, led to the passage of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, effectively giving President Lyndon B. Johnson authorization to escalate U.S. military involvement in Vietnam. Years later, it was revealed that the second attack may not have occurred as reported. Declassified documents and later admissions by government officials suggested that the incident had been exaggerated or misrepresented to justify the escalation of the Vietnam War. The Gulf of Tonkin incident remains a pivotal example of how misinformation and manipulation can lead to significant and tragic consequences on the global stage. These 10 instances of dark government secrets accidentally leaked to the world highlight the lengths to which governments might go to protect their interests, often at the expense of transparency and ethical standards. Each case has had profound implications for policy, public trust, and the ongoing struggle between national security and individual rights.